Now let's take a deep look at the docs feature in Cursor. So you go over to Cursor settings, and here, here's my rules for AI. Pretty general stuff, but it works. It really helps. I'm gonna go over to, I think it's features, and here's like, okay, so it'll do code-based indexing, right? So it'll kind of like break up all the code that's in this folder, make it in a more accessible way. That's a really simple way to explain it, okay? And docs are things that you can kind of add. So maybe you've encountered that you're working with a library that was created 6 months ago, but maybe if you're using something like, ChatGPT 4, the knowledge cutoff is last year. So it just doesn't know about that library at all. And that's, kind of annoying. And before Cursor, you kind of had to like copy some documentation or find a way to get it there. And it's really messy. So the docs feature is something that people don't use enough. It's really, really great. So for example, the other day I was dealing with some encoder settings on, with FFmpeg. And basically there's different parameters that you can give to, or there's different encoding parameters that you can give depending on which encoder you choose. So I gave it the docs link for the VP9 encoder. And I wonder, will this, yeah, so it actually kind of crawled a lot of different pages. So it indexed 235 pages. So it not only read the VP9 docs, but it also read about a lot of other pages. And it all saved them there. I guess sometimes there's been updates or something. But yeah, so let's see, it wants to open this axdiff. Oh, that's why there's so many differences. Okay, I think the FFmpeg site is kind of like a wiki style, so I think that's why there's so many diffs. But in other code bases, for example, I think, let's see, so this is a library wave file, and so it indexed one page, which was just like the npm page. If we go over to like media recorder, which is one of the like web APIs, it indexed 1,002 pages. So it has MDM for media recorder, close event, web APIs, and then okay, it kind of went wild. It indexed stuff for like the Canvas API, idle detection, a lot of stuff. It basically downloaded all of MDN. So initially, I would use the docs feature to like index a single page, but really it's going to index that entire site, which is really great because if you're using a website, if you're using a library, for example like Next.js or SST, you can just add it there and it'll index it. So let me go ahead and find the link to like the SST docs. If you don't know SST, it's kind of like built on top of, I think it's built on top of Pulumi, but basically it's infrastructure as code. So here is the link to the SST docs, and it's super simple. You just enter it there, it'll run in the background until it's done indexing, and that's it. It's as easy as that. So if a new library comes out last week, obviously even the most up-to-date foundational models are not going to know about it. But you can index the library's documentations or the library's code, and now it has that critical knowledge. I work with AWS a lot, so I should go ahead and add the AWS docs, and I have the query string from using Google. No, I just copied the Google link. Oh, okay. Interesting. Let me see. Let me restart this, okay. I use AWS a lot, so I think I should probably go ahead and index some of the AWS docs. That seems good to do. AWS, and confirm. Now, we see that I have gone ahead and indexed SST. So let's take a look at the pages it was able to extract. So it indexed 46 pages, and that's basically all the pages that SST has for documentation. Let's see, this is, no way. It can't have indexed 523 pages already. My guess is that other people have indexed this, and so it was able to look up in some sort of global store for like what pages to get for that. That's my guess. So yeah, that's pretty cool then. I mean, you still get the same results. So now, if I were to go ahead and ask a question, so let's see. If I were to go ahead and ask a question like, okay, I need a, or, so I can ask a question like, so now with these docs, I could kind of ask it a question like, I want you to design a hot infra with SST on AWS, supports entire region going down, and let's see, what type of thing is it? It's a PHP server. PHP server with a RDS instance with free, or I'm kind of designing that infra, so down PHP based. Okay, and I can go ahead and do docs AWS, and I can go ahead and do like docs SST, and let's see. Okay, it's just spitting code, and this is where you have to be like very careful with code prompting or prompt engineering, where you have to be careful. You have to be specific. Okay, so in this case, I see that it's going to deploy like 2 regions I told it to be, be hot. It's defining the primary DB, secondary DB. It's going to use Aura, stuff like that. Okay, and it explains it. But if I were to rephrase this like I want you to design, I can just say, don't give me code, just a high-level overview. And honestly, I tell it not to give me code often. Sometimes I kind of just talk back and forth, like, hey, does that make sense? Like if I write the code myself, I'm asking, does that make sense? I don't know. But also, you can bully language models into apologizing, and then once they correct themselves, you can bully it into thinking that that's wrong. So you have to be very careful to like try to not be biased in your language. That's something that's very important when you're crafting prompts. But yeah, it's going to talk about what it's going to do. Okay.